Brilliant, Charlie.
It's not brilliant enough. It doesn't change anything. It just explains why it's happening. A light outside my grasp, and my arms aren't long enough to reach it.
I'm not interested in the Nobel Prize anymore.
Because you're going to share it with me.
In New York, a kind-hearted, intellectually disabled man named Charlie Gordon lives alone in his small apartment and does his best to take care of himself. Charlie works part-time at a local bakery, which, after years of employment, has come to feel like a second home. Despite his daily challenges, Charlie carries a warmth and sincerity towards others, even when this kindness isn't returned and taken advantage of. To quench his desire to be smarter and to understand the world around him better, Charlie attends a local school for intellectually disabled adults, where he takes a class taught by his compassionate teacher, Alice Kenyon, and, regardless of the obstacles, does his best to improve. One day, a neurosurgeon named Dr. Jonah Strauss comes to the school and, together with Alice, interviews some students to select the best candidate for an experimental surgery that has the potential to increase intelligence.
I think Charlie's the school's best candidate.
Later, Charlie reports to his shift at the bakery, where he does his best to complete his tasks and comply with his colleagues' outrageous requests.
I need you to pick up that bread pan. It dropped on the floor. If you think you can handle that load, surely you can pick up a bread pan.
With his hands full, Charlie attempts to pick up the bread pan with his leg and is excited to succeed, but only for a few moments. But instead of taking the pan, his colleague, Gimpy, stands back with his hands crossed and preparing to entertain himself at Charlie's expense, signals Charlie to raise it higher. Unaware of Gimpy's intentions, and as he attempts to raise his leg, to the entertainment of everyone, he loses his balance and falls backwards on the floor.
Beautiful, Charlie.
Boy, I sure pulled a Charlie Gordon.
Completely unaware that his colleagues are laughing at him and obliviously trusting that they are laughing with him, Charlie joins in on the laughter and continues mocking himself, while appreciating the group, whom he considers to be his close friends. Then, Charlie returns to his apartment building, warmly greets his neighbor, who's happy to see him, and heads inside to have some breakfast. Later, Charlie heads to school, and at the end of the class, Alice reminds her students of their trip to the planetarium and asks them to bring their own lunch. She then kindly assists her students and bids them farewell.
Charlie, can I see you for a moment? Do you remember the other day when that man, Dr. Strauss, came to visit?
I gave the right answers?
Yes, you did.
Afterwards, intrigued and willing to do anything to be smarter, Charlie heads to the lab to meet Bert, who quickly starts administering some tests to find out Charlie's intellectual level.
What do you see?
Pictures of black paint.
Bert then takes Charlie to the next test and kindly explains it to him.
Now, I'm gonna give you this magic wand. Now, if you go off track, you'll probably get a little zap. It's not gonna hurt you or anything, it'll just lead you in the right direction.
Charlie concentrates and starts working through the maze, but runs into a dead end. However, without being discouraged, Charlie attempts it a few more times and is disheartened to get the same results.
I don't think anybody can win this game, Bert.
Charlie, this is Algernon.
As soon as Algernon is released, he runs through the maze quickly and makes it to the finish line in no time.
Whoa! That's one smart mouse.
Charlie then goes to meet with Dr. Jonah in his office.
Does that mean I get to be smart?
It might. We won't know till after the operation. You see, we just have to make it work a little better.
My brain?
On the day of the operation, hoping they bring him all the luck in the world during the procedure that can potentially change his life for the better, Charlie collects a few items from his house and heads to the hospital.
We begin by injecting our initial dosage to allow us to stimulate specific areas.
While some painful childhood memories, which he hopes he will never have to live through again, flash before his eyes, Charlie is sedated, and the team starts the operation. A few hours later, Charlie wakes up and is greeted by Alice, who has been worried and waiting by his bedside. As soon as he sees his teacher, Charlie asks her if he's smarter already, but soon learns that it takes some time to see results. A couple of days later, Dr. Jonah and Bert check on Charlie and inform him of the good news.
None of these babies will ever have to grow up and go through what you went through.
A few days later at the lab, hoping to see some progress, Bert sets up the maze and asks Charlie to complete it with Algernon as his competition. Charlie concentrates and tries his best to do so, but despite his best and numerous attempts, Algernon beats him to the finish line each time, which frustrates him.
I'll tell you one thing I just learned. I never knew I was dumber than a mouse.
This is no ordinary mouse. Algernon had an operation just like yours.
Later, Charlie heads to the bakery to report for his shift for the first time after his surgery, but once there, he is confused to find it empty and wonders what's going on and where everyone has gone.
Anybody here? Hello?
Soon, the men jump out of their hiding to surprise and welcome Charlie back, which delights the kind-hearted man, who joins in on the merriment and thanks everyone.
I feel good. Yeah, good enough to run the mixer?
Oliver got fired, and Mr. Donner's looking for a replacement, but...
I missed work just like you did. Better watch yourself, buddy. You could be next.
He's only been back for a few minutes, Gimpy. Give it a rest. Shocked and terrified out of his mind, Charlie rushes to Mr. Donner's office to speak to him.
Gimpy says you might fire me like you did Oliver.
Well, don't listen to that butthead. A job for life, and that's a promise. Thank you, Mr. Donner.
In the next few weeks, Charlie works closely with Alice and Bert, who slowly teach him mathematical operations, which he starts to master. Bert also gives him a computer, on which he practices some digital mazes, and finally manages to complete after only a few trials. Charlie also shows some improvement in class, with both his spelling and reading, which impresses Alice, who wholeheartedly supports him in his journey.
Won't be lonely for long.
There's somebody there.
One day at the lab, Bert tasks Charlie with competing against Algernon to complete the maze and sets a timer. To the delight of both men, and unlike all the frustrating times before, Charlie quickly finds his way out to the finish line before Algernon can even make it halfway. Ecstatic by this result, Charlie and Bert jump up and down like young boys and celebrate the feat, which shows how far Charlie has come since his surgery and which boosts his confidence.
You're not mad at me, are you?
Charlie then spends a few minutes playing and having fun with Algernon, who has become very dear to him. Later, at the bakery, to the surprise of everyone, Charlie spends his downtime completely absorbed in a book, understanding each word better than ever and enjoying himself.
You know, Mr. Donner's getting awfully tired of running that thing himself.
I could mess up real bad and we'd have to shut down for the whole night. Hey, you really think I can do it?
Hey, don't sell yourself short, Charlie.
Ugh. When will you ever stop? Trusting his friends who, unbeknownst to him, are eagerly awaiting to watch a disaster, and hoping to do something nice for his boss, Charlie goes to the machine and turns it on. Then, while everyone watches with anticipation and curiosity, Charlie goes around setting up the line, as if he had always been doing it, hopefully awaiting the result, and is excited beyond words to soon realize his success. Moments later, seeing the commotion from a distance, Mr. Donner arrives, and just as he's about to scold Charlie for messing with the mixer, he's surprised to see that he's worked it perfectly.
Thanks for talking me into this.
Seeing the boss's approval, everyone celebrates and cheers Charlie on for his unprecedented success, leaving Gimpy to sulk on the sidelines. Later, hoping to celebrate the one-of-a-kind day in which he got to solve a problem instead of causing one, Charlie invites his colleagues out to the bar.
Still, he should have been grateful. I mean, he got a new mixer operator and he didn't even have to train him.
While Gimpy ruminates over his plan that had completely backfired, one of the men, named Greg, invites Charlie to join him on the dance floor and have fun on the special night. After some back and forth, Charlie reluctantly joins Greg, starts dancing, and has the time of his life, which doesn't sit well with Gimpy. After a few minutes of watching from the sidelines, unable to give Charlie a break, Gimpy trips him with his cane, causing him to fall down. While on the floor, Charlie, who is unaware of Gimpy's intentions, laughs it off and continues making fun of himself and having a good time. However, this all changes moments later, when Gimpy offers to help Charlie up and offers him his cane. To the shock of the men, Gimpy lets go of it, causing Charlie to fall back down.
I don't make fun of you, Gimpy.
Charlie storms out of the lab and heads to his apartment, and now that he has finally seen his colleagues for who they really are, which quite frustrates him, he spends the next couple of days locked inside, reflecting on everything he thought he knew and the cruelty of the people he considered dear friends. One afternoon, concerned by his absence, Alice goes to Charlie's apartment to check on him.
You shouldn't feel bad if you think everyone isn't nice like you think.
I'm ashamed for you to see the way that I live. I mean, look at this mess.
Hoping to tidy up the place for his company, Charlie continues going around the apartment, angrily putting things away.
But you are pretty. I'm glad you're my teacher.
While hugging Alice, flashes of his childhood crush run through Charlie's mind, leaving him confused. Later, as he promised Alice, Charlie goes to meet Dr. Jonah at his office.
You said that you don't remember much of your childhood, right?
With all the painful memories of his past, from his mother's anger and betrayal to being bullied by his childhood friends and now his co-workers flashing through his mind, Charlie walks out of the doctor's office deep in thought.
In the black paint, that's what you said the first time, that there was hidden pictures.
I made recordings of all my sessions with you.
Yeah, but what's in the black paint?
That was you.
Hoping to prove a point, Bert replays the tape, which completely shakes Charlie, who no longer recognizes his old self. Overwhelmed by everything, Charlie goes to see Algernon, whom he believes is the only one who can truly understand what he's going through, and confides in him.
Smart. Even if it's normal smart, I'll still be different.
A few days later, Charlie and Alice meet up and spend the afternoon reading together.
Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears.
You just read that once?
Yeah, just a few minutes ago.
Later, at the bakery, while Charlie is immersed in a book, he overhears Gimpy and Frank arguing about a game.
Cincinnati went on to win the series. Boston's been in agony ever since.
Annoyed to be proven wrong by the man he has always put down for his personal entertainment, Gimpy storms away. A few days later, Alice and Charlie go to the movies together.
I used to just see you as a teacher, but now you're more like a friend.
We don't have an operation to make people emotional geniuses, and we never will.
Later that day, Charlie goes to the lab to vent to Algernon.
I've loved people all my life, and you feel any different because of that?
One day, while on his shift, Charlie overhears Frank and Gimpy talking about him and is gutted to learn how they really feel about him.
What a god, the guy is making fun of me right to my face. Like we're the freaks and he's the normal one.
Later, while Charlie reads, a beaming Dr. Jonah approaches him with some news.
I just got word from the International Psychiatric Convention in Chicago.
Well, these are important scientists. I want to make a good impression.
Now, I made you what you are, so if you want to go ahead and compare me to Frankenstein, that's your opinion.
What
but
would David Hume say about this? David Hume, he sent Immanuel Kant on his road. I'm not your science fair project. I'm not your ticket to Stockholm, and I'm sure as hell not your paper in Chicago.
A few days later, while working, Charlie's called to Mr. Donner's office, drops everything, and heads there.
They've asked me to let you go, Charlie.
Why?
I don't know what happened, but the Charlie you used to be, the Charlie everyone here liked.
This is so unfair. Holding back his tears, Charlie leaves the bakery, the place he had once believed would always welcome him, and goes to see Alice to vent his frustration.
They hate me now! I made them hate me! I'm angry and I don't know why!
Charlie then tries to kiss Alice, who freaks out at the unexpected gesture, stops him, quickly collects her stuff, and storms out. The next morning, Charlie goes to his old class to speak to Alice.
Something's not right. I'm starting to lose things. Memories. I've already spoken to Dr. Strauss. He'll pay for your ticket.
To Charlie's delight, Alice agrees to accompany him to Chicago, and together with Dr. Jonah, they fly there. Later, the trio heads to the convention, and the doctor makes his presentation.
One might say that Charlie Gordon was one of nature's mistakes.
That's quite a harsh assessment. As an overwhelmed Charlie stands at the back and watches on with sheer terror, his old interview is played.
Charlie? What's a Charlie Gordon?
Dr. Jonah then presents Charlie to the crowd, who pause their laughter to cheer him on and welcome him to the podium.
Let me speak. I'll be brief, I promise. And I feel like I just met an old friend whom I'd forgotten so much about.
An agitated Charlie then releases all the mice, causing chaos in the convention center. As everyone starts running scared and the mayhem increases, Charlie discreetly rescues Algernon and takes him to his hotel room, where he prepares to leave and head back home. However, a few minutes later, as Charlie proceeds to head out, a furious Alice arrives to see him.
It's not science, it's stupidity! I'm sick of doctors that go around acting like they're God.
Furious to be scolded for reacting to and treating the scientists exactly like they treated him, Charlie storms out of the room, leaving a fuming Alice behind. In the next few days, Charlie becomes isolated from everyone, and after a few minutes, finds himself instinctively heading to the bakery, where he stands for minutes watching his old colleagues, who despite their cruelty have been the closest group of people he's ever had in his life, interacting, joking around, and welcoming the new employee hired to replace him. Charlie remains there for a while, reflecting on all the times he spent at the bakery as the butt of everyone's jokes, and thinking about the results of the Russian experiment, which predicts that he will gradually return to his old self, which terrifies him to no end. Pushing all the troubling thoughts and questions aside, Charlie decides to focus on his only remaining relationship with Algernon and goes to the bar, hoping he can relax. However, once there, Charlie finds that he's unable to do so and turns down a dance invitation from a woman named Faith to continue thinking about Algernon's recent downward trajectory, which he believes is a foreshadowing of his own fate. Then, to the surprise of Faith, Charlie takes Algernon out of his pocket and presents him to her.
Charlie went away. Pretty soon he's coming back.
Huh?
Dance?
Oh, he don't, but I do.
Leaving Algernon, Charlie heads to the dance floor, puts on a song, and starts dancing and having a good time with Faith. Moments later, Charlie accidentally trips and falls down, but just like his old self had done numerous times, he stays down laughing his heart out and enjoying himself. He then spends the majority of the night dancing and having fun and letting go of all that weighs him down for the first time in months. The next day, while Charlie nurses his hangover, Alice arrives at his apartment to speak to him.
I owe you an apology for the way I behaved and the way I spoke to you in Chicago.
There were times last night while he was out that I actually felt happy.
You're just sitting there with a bomb in your lap waiting for it to go off. The old Charlie wouldn't do that.
Following Alice's advice, Charlie goes to speak to Dr. Jonah in his office and is surprised by the doctor's attitude.
And you probably guessed that there's another dimension to this. I created a monster, and now my monster has the capability to finish the experiment that I...
Before Charlie gives the doctor a response, a frantic Bert barges into the office and interrupts their meeting with some shocking news.
So the regression's begun.
Well, I think it's been going on for some time now.
Terrified by Algernon's decline, Charlie quietly watches for a while, knowing deep down that he's looking at his own future. Desperate to come up with a solution before he too regresses, Charlie gets to work quickly. For the next few days, Charlie spends days and nights completely immersed in his research to find a solution and possibly prevent further deterioration. One morning, while at the lab, Charlie notices Algernon struggling to run on his wheel and, with his heart breaking, approaches the mouse, hoping to calm him down.
They catch you.
Determined to rescue both himself and Algernon from their looming fate, Charlie continues working hard, and a few days later, he invites Dr. Jonah and Bert to share his findings.
Something in the math, maybe.
No, it's not in the math. It's not in the chemistry either. There's still something else. There's the last third that I'm not able to explain.
One evening, while an exhausted Charlie takes a nap in the lab, Bert wakes him with a troubling update.
I think he wants to die.
I think Strauss disagrees, but we don't really have a choice. I mean, we gotta find out what went wrong with him, right?
With a broken heart, Charlie feeds Algernon the mouse that was once smarter than him, with a desperate hope to keep him around for a while longer, hoping he will find a solution in time. That night, while sleeping, Charlie is haunted by dreams of his mother Rose, whom he hasn't seen or talked to in years, quickly jolts up and sneaks into the office to get her address from the surgical consent form she had signed for his operation. Once there, Charlie finds his file, and as he looks through to find the form, he is dismayed to learn that his mother had been paid $2,000 for her consent. The next morning, Charlie invites Dr. Jonah for a discussion.
Really very simple. My regression is inevitable.
It's not a bump, it's a chasm.
But you said there was something you hadn't thought of.
In Charlie Gordon's world, we're the morons.
That afternoon, Charlie heads to his mother's house to finally see her. But once he gets there, he stands in front of it for hours, contemplating his decision. He then cautiously heads to the door and reluctantly knocks. Moments later, Rose comes to the door to open it, but is shocked out of her mind to see him on the other side and refuses to. Seeing her rejection, Charlie pushes back his panic and tears and begs her to open the door. And when he fails to convince her, despite his heartfelt plea, Rose refuses to open the door, forcing him to break the window, open the door, and enter while she watches on from a distance.
I'm not retarded anymore. I'm not a moron. Tell me about how it was when I was little.
Charlie wipes his tears away and calms himself down before continuing to speak to Rose and asking her the question that has haunted him all of his life.
I sent you away because you were better off without me. Still are. You know, a guy gives you too much of one thing, he evens it out somewhere else. I always said that.
Later, as Charlie proceeds to leave, Rose escorts him out, and the duo stands there awkwardly looking at each other. Then, knowing that this is probably the last time he will ever see his mother, Charlie slowly kisses her and walks away, without looking back. He then heads to his apartment, reflecting on the events of the day, and later confides in Alice.
I know now why my mother could never love me. You're only doing this because you feel sorry for me.
No.
As the duo continues to talk and comfort one another, Alice confesses that she's always been in love with him, which takes him by surprise. Alice and Charlie then spend the night together and start a relationship. A few nights later, while working at the lab, Charlie finds Algernon struggling, takes him out of his cage, but is soon shattered when he dies in his hands. Devastated by the loss of Algernon, who has become very dear to him, Charlie cries his eyes out. Then, hoping to save the helpless mouse from being dissected for further research, Charlie discreetly takes him out, buries him in his garden in a small box together with his mother's locket, and puts some flowers on his grave, all while weeping uncontrollably. The next day, when Alice goes to Charlie's house to see him, she finds a note asking her to meet him on campus, and she rushes there.
That's why I want you to leave. Before long, I'll forget about you. You'll just be Miss Kinnian. We go on like this, we'll lose every happy memory we got.
Heartbroken by Charlie's decision, which she can't argue with, Alice cries her eyes out, while Charlie comforts her. A few days later, certain of his further intellectual deterioration, Charlie heads to the bakery to speak to Mr. Donner.
Hi, Mr. Donner.
Hi, Charlie.
And I know you hired someone to run the bread mixer, and that's okay because I can't do it no more. It's too hard.
Ugh, the stress of making such preparations. As Charlie heads inside, everyone cheers him on and welcomes him warmly, as if they hadn't signed the petition that cost him his job.
How many Charlie Gordons does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Mr. Donner watches from a distance as Charlie continues to make fun of himself and has a good time with his old colleagues, and confident that he will maintain the peace, agrees to rehire him. Sometime later, to Alice's utter terror, Charlie arrives at her class and joins the rest of the students at the table.
I can't spell Lester.
We'll just give it a try, okay? We'll sound it out.
Chair.
Hey, Charlie, where you been?
It's my chair, Charlie. Charlie, get out of my chair.
Despite expecting this outcome, Alice realizes that she's not as prepared to handle it as she thought, as she is overcome with emotions and quietly cries as she watches Charlie interacting with his classmates. Then, Alice somehow manages to finish her class and walks out, weeping with sheer sadness. Moments later, Charlie calls after her and catches up with her.
I know you're crying. Don't cry. It's like I did it for all the dumb people all over the world. Whenever you think of it. Would you put flowers on Algernon's grave? I wouldn't ask, except I think you wouldn't mind. Bye, Miss Kinnian.